Hi, all. Again, apologies for the shirt, although I'm actually proud of it. It's Rusty's Hard Time Hollow from the Southeast on the Appalachian Trail, but I can't put a decent shirt on because I had a fall today. Anyway, I want to talk about Chris Matthews. Do you all remember Chris Matthews? He was a decent political reporter who then wound up having a very successful career as hosting his own political talk show on NBC and MSNBC. And he used to dress in a very charming way, like Catholic school, navy blue blazer, white shirt, and a rep tie. And he had a shock of blonde hair. He was kind of from the Kennedy era, or from the era of admiring Kennedy. Anyway, Snowden appeared on the scene, and Matthews was 100% against Snowden. And to me, Snowden, represented freedom of information. Let's put our cards on the table. Let's look at who we are as a country. Whereas Matthews was just, a good boy, wanted to be obedient to his masters. So he was completely against Snowden. And I happened to be in Pamplona during the San Fermines, and there was Chris Matthews enjoying himself. And I said hello. And at some point in the conversation, I said, you should take it easy on Snowden. You should give him a chance. And Matthews said something to the effect of, why don't you get your own show? And I didn't reply what I should have replied, which is that if I ask for a selfie or a handshake or an autograph, it might kick his ego, but it doesn't do anything for him. But if he has a fan, someone who's watched him for decades, who's telling him something, he ought to listen, because that advice is gold. But he didn't listen to me. He started talking about Snowden's eyeglasses, that Matthews was actually bothered by the new generation, the younger generation, because they wore eyeglasses that annoyed him, and they wore their hair in a way that annoyed him. Now, I don't like Snowden's glasses either. There's a lot of things I don't like about what another generation wears and how they keep themselves. It's none of my business. The only thing you do is pay attention to what they're saying. It's not for us to criticize their appearance. But he talked about this. And then when I brought up who is that guy who now has a show, Chris Hayes, he said the same thing, something about his eyeglasses. The point is, be for freedom, listen to criticism, don't just be an obedient lapdog. And Matthews lost his career for that. He lost his career because he was just being an obedient lapdog. But when it came to Sanders winning the primary, he absolutely was disconsolate, which is absurd. He lost sight of things. And it's unfortunate because Chris Matthews was fun. And he would have been fun. He would have had another 15 years. Instead, he threw it all away. Snowden is a heroic figure. Snowden is a person who's going to have biographies, who's going to have a big obituary in the New York Times. That's to be regarded.